What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Lions video. Today we have some more Lions news and rumors, everything from the newest signing by our Detroit Lions, a potential player the Lions are showing interest in that they could potentially bring in, some number changes, and a potential outlook and some more insight on this upcoming draft. Now, before we get into the video and before we get into talking about these news and rumors surrounding our Detroit Lions, if you're new to the channel and you're enjoying the content, please consider liking the videos and subscribe to the channel. It takes just 2 seconds out of your day to do so. It's quick, free, and easy, and you will be helping the channel out more than you could possibly know. So if you could do that, take those 2 seconds to like, subscribe, and maybe, just maybe, hit the bell notification so that you never miss an upload. I'd be greatly appreciated for it. But with all that being said, and without any further ado, let's get into this new batch of Lions news and rumors and what it means for our Lions moving forward. Now, the first bit of news that we will be talking about today is the Detroit Lions' newest player and the newest signing made by our Lions team. Now, last night, late into the evening, it was announced that the Detroit Lions and veteran cornerback Quinton Dunbar had come to a 1-year agreement for him to join this Lions secondary that was in desperate need of help, having, as of yesterday, only 4 members on the roster. Now, Quinton Dunbar has been linked with the Detroit Lions for a couple of weeks now. He's been talking with the Lions, he's been visiting with the Lions. In our last news and rumors upload, I talked about him potentially joining this Lions team, and a week or so later that actually came to fruition. Now, Quinton Dunbar is a 6-year NFL veteran. He's played in the NFL for 6 seasons. He's a 6'2", 200-pound cornerback, so he's got pretty good size for the cornerback position. He has started in 31 games for both the Washington football team as well as the Seattle Seahawks throughout his first 6 games of his NFL career, which isn't great but is not horrible for the cornerback. He has struggled to stay healthy a little bit, never having played in a full 16-game season. However, in the 31 games that he has started in his career so far, he has totaled over 180 tackles, 40 passes defended, and 10 interceptions. So he is a really good cornerback when he is on the field. He's a really good difference maker in that secondary when he's on the field. His only problem is he does tend to struggle with injuries. Now, the only problem I have with this cornerback is that he does struggle with injuries. We've had a lot of injury-riddled players over the past couple of years in Detroit. However, I like this signing more than the rest because this is not one that he's locked into. This is not like the Desmond Trufant situation where we signed him 2 years, $20 million. Like, we're not locked into Quinton Dunbar long-term. He's not going to take up a lot of cap space. It's going to be a 1-year prove-it deal just like every other player on the roster. And, you know, from that perspective, it makes it a little bit easier because you're not going to pay Quinton Dunbar a lot of money unless he's going to make a lot of plays for you. And unless he does get re-signed next offseason, he's not going to take up a lot of capital. He's not going to take up a lot of cap space. So he's going to be there, and it's really a high-risk, low-reward, just like every other contract the Lions have given out. Now, last year, Quinton Dunbar did not have his greatest season, allowing a 64.8% completion percentage against, allowing just 491 yards and 4 touchdowns in just 6 games. It's not his best season, and it was far from his best season as a cornerback. However, he was injury riddled a lot of the season. He did not play a lot of the season, only started 6 games, only played in 6 games for the Seattle Seahawks a season ago, and really was never able to find that groove. Showed some really good flashes, did have an interception, did have a couple passes defended, but for the most part was never really able to get into that groove of the season and never really kind of got into, you know, that season mode. Never really was able to kind of just sit down, anchor down, and have like a productive season and kind of get in the zone when he was constantly in and out of the lineup with injuries. Now, the season before that, in 2019, his last season with the Washington football team, he had a much better season, allowing just a 60% completion percentage, allowing just 360 yards and 2 touchdowns, while coming up with 4 interceptions, allowing just a quarterback rating of 61.2 while playing in 11 games for the football team. I'm a big fan of this hire. I think this is a very good hire. I think this is going to be a hire in which it benefits the Lions greatly. They needed secondary help. They needed veteran leadership within that that secondary. Of course, Jeff Okudah is very young. Amani Oruwariye is incredibly young. Mike Ford is very young. Tracy Walker is very young. Corn Elder, even the newest signing before that, was very, very young. He's only going into his 4th year. So bringing in a veteran, a guy that's been in the NFL for 6 years, going into his 7th season of NFL play, I think is a really good move for the Lions, and especially with it being a low-risk, high-reward kind of a contract, that makes me even more of a fan of the hire. And I think this was a very good signing by Brad Holmes and the Lions. Now, the second piece of news that we have today is the number change of the former 3rd overall pick, Mr. Jeff Okudah. Now, it has been officially announced that Jeff Okudah will be changing his number from 30 to 23. Now, of course, Jamal Williams took the 30 number when he got here. That was kind of his thing. He wanted the number 30, and Jeff Okudah was more than happy to give it up. And it seems like Jeff Okudah will be making the transition from number 30 to number 23. Now, of course, this does not necessarily mean he's going to be a better player in 23. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to have like that Darius Slay transformation where he went from 30 to 23 and all of a sudden started playing really, really well. And of course, it is just a number on the front and back of your jersey. However, speaking from an athlete's perspective, wearing the number that you want can just kind of make you more comfortable in an offense or a defense. It can kind of make you more comfortable in your situation, can give you a little bit more confidence. And of course, whatever numbers on the front of your jersey should not affect the way that you play, but just being more comfortable wearing the number that you want as an athlete kind of puts you in a situation where you're a little bit more confident because you're wearing the number that you want to wear. And if you haven't played sports before, if you haven't played competitive sports at a high level, it might sound kind of strange, but wearing the number that you want, wearing a number that you want to be wearing, and just kind of having your number can just give you a little bit more confidence, make you a little bit more comfortable. And I think that's kind of what we saw with Darius Slay many, many years ago, is when he switched to the number he wanted, he actually played better because he was just a little more confident, had a little bit more experience within the Lions system. And I think that's something that we are going to see out of Jeff Okudah next season. The third piece of news for today's video is another potential player the Lions may be looking to add, as news has come out that the Lions will be hosting Will Parks, the former Denver Broncos safety, for a visit to Detroit. Now, Will Parks is a 26-year-old safety standing at 6'1", 200 pounds. He's played in 72 games for the Denver Broncos and was actually traded to the Philadelphia Eagles throughout the midseason. He played in 10 games a season ago, but prior to this season had never missed a game. Will Parks, in his first 72 games played, totaled over 180 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, 13 passes defended, and 4 interceptions. He's a really solid young player at the safety position. I would be a big fan of bringing him in. I don't think he'll be very expensive. He is not a very hyped up player. He was not the best safety on that Denver Broncos team. He was not even the best secondary player in that Denver Broncos system. He was kind of a backup, kind of a role player, never really was a full-time starter for the Broncos, but always made plays when he was on the field. I really like, if we were to sign him, I really like that we're bringing him in for a visit. I really like that we are looking at Will Parks as a potential safety. I think it would be a real big add. I think it would be a really solid integration to our Lions secondary right now. Tracy Walker and Will Parks could be a really solid 1-2 combination at the safety spot, while guys like Jalen Elliott, while guys like Bobby Price, and maybe even Will Harris continue to develop and grow as players as they look to get more NFL experience, as they look to get on the field a little bit more next season. I think bringing in Will Parks for a 1-year prove-it deal, just like everybody else, could be really beneficial to the Detroit Lions because, as I said, he's played in a lot of games. He's been healthy throughout his entire career, and he makes a lot of plays when he's on the field without really getting a lot of starting time throughout his first couple of seasons. Now, the first rumor that we have today, and the first rumor that we'll be talking about, is one that came out yesterday about the Lions and the Falcons. Now, there were reports that came out that mentioned that the Detroit Lions, as well as the Atlanta Falcons, are 2 more teams within the top 10 that are very open and very willing to trade away their picks and move down within the NFL draft. This is not a shocking turn of events. This is not something that I am shocked about. We've been talking about the Lions potentially trading down for many, many weeks at this point. This is something that I have been preaching for many, many weeks. Now, I know this is something that Lions fans have been asking for a very long time. It's what we wanted last year. It's what we wanted, the year before. Really, if we're sitting at a top 10 position, Lions fans want to trade down, and this year is no different. The Lions should trade down. If the Lions can, I think they should trade down. They should be getting a lot of value for it. The 49ers gave up 3 firsts and a third to move up 9 spots. If we were to move down in the draft, I would expect a lot of capital. I would expect a lot of draft picks and a lot of really, really good capital in return for the number 7 overall overall pick. And if they're able to pull off a trade, I'd be very excited about it. If they're able to get an extra first round pick, if they're able to get something else in this draft, as well as something in the mid to late teens, I'd be extremely happy with that trade. With Brad Holmes' trading history, with his trade history so far, with the Matthew Stafford trade, the Michael Brockers trade, it shows that he is at least a very, very solid trader. He's pulled off a lot of really good trades already for the Lions. So if history is any indication, although it is a short one, we should be getting some pretty decent value for the 7th overall pick. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about today is not really a bit of news. It's not really a rumor around the Lions, but this is something that I mentioned a couple of days ago in our last news and rumors upload. Now, last time we were here, last time we were talking about news and rumors, I talked about the Lions potentially looking to change up their uniforms, and throughout the week or so, throughout the past couple of days, I have found a couple of really interesting designs, a lot of really interesting concepts that I wanted to share on the screen. So there's a lot of them that I really like. There's a couple of uniforms that I think are really, really good, and there's one in particular that I really like for like the actual uniform, the actual jersey of it, and I like it because it has some design around the collar. It has like a lion's mane around the collar almost. It has a really cool design on the shoulder pads. I really, really like this design, and of course it will be on screen right now for you to see, as well as the rest of the designs, but these are some of the ones that I have found over the past couple of days. I really, really like some of these. I really like the direction that some of these fan arts are going, and of course this doesn't mean the Lions are going to do it. Of course it doesn't mean the Lions are going to, it doesn't mean they're going to make this jersey happen. It doesn't mean that that's the jersey that they are going to use, but these are some really interesting concepts that I found that I thought would be interesting to share. Now, with all that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Those are the newest Detroit Lions news and rumors. If you're new to the channel, as I said in the beginning, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel, especially if you enjoy this Lions news and rumor content, or if you enjoy any of the draft content I do on the channel. So if you could do that, take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe. I'd be greatly appreciative for it. But with all that being said, and without any further ado, that is all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching the video. If there's more Lions news and rumors to come out, of course, I'll make another video talking about it. But until then, that's all I got for you guys right now. Thank you all so very much for watching the video. And until next time, and as always, go Lions.